Spring is well underway here in eastern Iowa, and for many folks that does mean we have seen a return of the allergy season. Now for this week's Climate Close-Up, we're going to have a bit of an in-depth look at allergy season, what different symptoms might mean at different times of the year, and we're also going to have a look at how allergy season might be changing in a changing climate. Now, an important thing to know about allergies is that you can have different reactions at different times of year based on what type of allergy you're dealing with. For example, tree pollen typically is the first type of pollen that we see at the start of the growing season, and tree pollen typically peaks during the spring. The reason for that, trees are already mature plants, so typically the first thing they do when they wake up in the spring is send out flowers. Those flowers then go towards producing nuts and fruit for the fall crop of that year, and then the crop then grows through the summer. So typically in the spring is when tree pollen is at its highest from all of those flowers that are being produced. If you have symptoms during the spring, typically that is from tree pollen. As we get into the summer, we then see a change to grass pollen. Now, grass typically peaks during the summer because grasses are typically growing during the spring, reaching maturity during the summer, and that's when they're producing a lot of their pollen. So if you have seasonal allergies during the summer, typically grass pollen is going to be your culprit there. Once we get into fall, we then look towards weed pollen for the primary producer for pollen. A lot of times, weeds spend the majority of the summer growing and maturing, and then late in the summer and early fall is when they produce their flowers that then go to producing seeds for the next generation of weeds the following spring. So if you have seasonal allergies during the fall, typically that is going to come from weeds. So having a little bit of a better understanding of what time of year you're getting your symptoms and what it might mean can be helpful for addressing some of those allergy symptoms and knowing what to avoid. Now in a changing climate, a warmer climate, shorter winters and longer growing seasons typically mean longer allergy seasons as well, and that's what we've seen here in eastern Iowa. Waterloo, for example, has seen an increase in the growing season of 9 days between 1970 and 2022, and as I mentioned, a longer growing season, so a longer period of time for plants to produce pollen, typically means longer and more intense allergy seasons as well. And not just in eastern Iowa, across a good portion of the U.S., there have been some areas that have seen a little change or even a day or two decrease in the growing season, but more areas are seeing increases in the length of the growing season and the length of the allergy season. So it's good to know what to expect for your seasonal allergies, good to have an understanding of them as we do. There are millions of people that deal with them every year. But for this year's pollen season, we are wishing you easy breathing, or at the very least, a better understanding of your allergies and why they occur for this week's Climate Close-Up.